Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with the You Are Special Today mug. I love this mug. It's a Scandinavian tradition and set. I learned it from my sister, and she got it from her in-laws, where on somebody's birthday or on a special day or special occasion, maybe a wedding or an anniversary or anything like that, they get a red plate that says You Are Special Today, and they get this mug that says You Are Special Today. And I wanted to share that tradition because I think it's a wonderful tradition, especially when people are starting out and making their own families. I give it as a wedding gift really, really often because it's just a fun tradition that you can start and experience with your family for years to come. And all you do is on the plate, on the back of the plate, people can sign and date in permanent marker that they use this particular set. We don't do it on the cup because the cup's small, but on the back of the plate, it's a big dinner-sized plate. People can sign and date then when they use that plate on a special occasion. So it becomes a really fun keepsake for your family and for your family's experiences, and a big reminder, especially after people have passed away and they use that special plate in your house. I know it's really fun to see that my dad had signed the plate and things, and he passed away 4 years ago. So it's fun to see and experience things like that and have traditions like that in your life. So today I was just feeling like I needed a little I Feel Special Today mug. So I'm having my Daily Scare Share coffee out of my You Are Special Today mug. Allow myself to sneak another drink before we dive in. Today is day 362. Nope, 363. Oh my gosh, day 363 already. And we've got a cool poll. And I don't remember what I called it or that I even typed in a description. I might have forgotten because I'm in a hurry this morning. But it's one of the quiz and rate and rank all these different phrases on a scale of 0 to 10. And the scale is rate your job anxiety from 1 to 10. So I'm like thinking, okay, well, how nervous, doubtful, worried, anxious, bothered, upset, etc. are you by ... each of the things that I'm going to read off. And I'm actually going to do this right along with you so that I've actually accomplished my Do One Thing a Day That Scares Me from the book Do One Thing a Day That Scares You today. So rate your job anxiety from 1 to 10. How about looking for a job? How anxious are you to look for a job? Well, I'm not anxious at all to look for a job, so I would give that a 0. Will I look for a job? No. So then from a not anxious, but I'm not going to do it, it gets a 10 because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to look for a job. I've been on my own since 2004, so I'm probably not going to go get a job working for someone else and following their rules and their regulations and their expectations and their mores and their values. Not going to happen at this point. How about keeping a job? How anxious are you about keeping a job? Well, let's go to my past experience and answer some of these so that I don't put 0 on all of them, because I am a little nervous. Now, if I had to go get a job right now, how anxious would I be to look for a job? I wouldn't be anxious or stressed or worried or doubtful about the looking for a job. Keeping a job, it would depend on the place that I chose to work, but I would say maybe a 2, a 1 or a 2, because there's always a chance that you could get laid off or fired, even if you're doing a fantastic job. But if I select a job that I'm a good fit for, then I'm not really that worried about keeping that job because I know I'm going to be able to meet the expectations of that position and do an excellent job for the company that I'm working for. Managing the work. Again, maybe a 3, and that's only if the expectations aren't clear. But if the expectations aren't clear, I'm going to take the initiative and I'm going to clarify those expectations. So I don't have a whole lot of worry or doubt or fear or anxiety over managing the work in any job that I would have. Working on a team. I have no anxiety working on a team. I'm going to give it a 1 though, because sometimes you get a team member that needs a little extra attention. But I actually love working on teams. I used to teach people how to work on teams, and I did trainings on team development and personal development and team interactions and team communications and anything team related because I loved that. That was one of my favorite processes. Excuse me, my throat is especially cloggy this morning. Working alone. How anxious are you or fearful or doubtful are you about working alone? How much do you like to work alone versus working in a team or working in a group and in a group environment? Again, I don't really have any anxiety. I work alone a lot now. I used to always work with other people. And so it's actually kind of fun to work alone now. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give it a 2. And only because sometimes I miss the expertise of others that were just at my fingertips. For example, in corporate America, I had access to people that were experts in all different areas and in some incredibly large organizations. And having those people as a resource at your fingertips is so powerful and so nice. You don't realize it until you don't have that same access. And it's different being in a big organization and having access to those people. And once you're out of that organization, you automatically, or that industry, you don't have access to those same people anymore, or you don't have access to them in the same way. So I'll give that a 2. How about managing a team? I'm going to say, again, 1. I don't have any anxiety over that. But there are difficult people that end up on your teams, and that takes a little bit more effort to manage than if just everybody is going with the flow and doing what they're supposed to do. Managing the boss. I don't really have any anxiety over that because my first boss out of college was horrible. She had just had a nervous breakdown, and I was a confident, cocky college gal, and I had done really well in school, and so I entered the job market with a lot of confidence, and that just made her crazy. And so I learned very early on how to work with a difficult boss and how to focus on what's good about them and what they bring to the table, not what isn't awesome about them and how they treat you. And so managing your boss, I'm going to give it a 1 because sometimes we still run across difficult people and challenging people. And once you know that it's not about you, it's always about them and something that's going on with them, it's really easy to manage your boss. Office politics is part of why I got out of corporate America. I don't like any kind of politics, and office politics is right up there on my belief about all politics. It sucks. It doesn't really contribute positively to most work environments. So yeah, I'm going to give that one a 4. Not because I'm anxious about office politics, but because I dislike them so much. Now, you can have ways of doing things in a business that are very positive for the business and empowering for everybody involved. But most businesses don't have that. Let's be honest. The vast majority of businesses, office politics would be a negative thing. Office romances get a 0 because to me, that's not even an option. That is something you just don't mess with. Becoming bored. Now, my anxiety about becoming bored is pretty strong. And it's not anxiety. It's I get bored. I have what I call the 3-year itch. And that's the point at which I can go into almost any organization and I put in systems and processes and procedures and methods and train people to the point where the job is almost handled on autopilot. And once you reach that point, I can go about a year of watching and continuously improving that system until I get really bored and I need a new challenge. So I'm going to give that a 6 because I have identified my own pattern and I know that I will get bored. And if I don't be moving on to the next challenge, the next opportunity, I will lose interest and I will, I just get bored with it. And then I in earnest have to really start looking for something else to do. If I can't find something in the environment that I'm in, then I switch industries, I switch businesses, I switch environments. Not getting a raise or a promotion, how anxious are you about that? Well, since I run my own businesses, I'm going to say 1 because it's 100% in my control whether I'm going to get that or not. But when you're working for someone else and it's not in your control, it can be something that makes you very, very anxious. So I don't know. I'm trying to think back in my past corporate working life if I was ever anxious about not getting a raise or something. Usually I didn't take it personally because what would happen is in bigger companies, it's pretty much across the board what you're going to get or not going to get. And it was usually like 2 to 3%, which didn't really amount to much. So I wasn't really ever anxious about it. I don't think I ever not got a raise when everybody else did or when other people did. So that never came up. But it does come up for people a lot. So, and a lot of it's based on office politics and other things that are outside of your control. But if you're doing the best you can and giving as much as you can to the organization and doing your best and growing and learning and being the best person that you can be, getting along with other people and building relationships, none of these things even bother you in any environment, much less a job environment. And then the other one is something scarier. Is there something scarier about jobs or working for someone else? My thing would be having to work for someone else. I would give that a 10. And that's, yeah, having to work for someone else would be my my something scarier. Because I believe I'm either building my dream in my life or I'm building someone else's. And I built someone else's for a quarter century, actually over a quarter century. More than 25 years I worked in corporate America and helped people build their businesses. And it was really fun. It was really rewarding. I learned a lot, but it's a lot more fun and a lot more rewarding to help other people build their dream than it is to build someone else's dream. And that especially applies to me building my life and my dream. And I think that if you ask yourself and go through this quiz, you'll find out where you stand too. And it's kind of fun to then just add up all the numbers and divide by 12 and get your average. So me, statistics, quality manager, engineer, nerd, I love doing things like that, coming up with my average. Let's see what we got. We got 10, 16, 17. $32 divided by 17 is what? It's about what's about 2? I'm just going to say it's close enough to 2 to make it 2. So my average anxiety or about about having a job and working for someone else is about a 2, which that's about how I feel. So that's just kind of a quick gauge to say, okay, well, is that how I really feel about this? Or is there something else going on? And based on when I would have answered these questions, the answers would have been very different. If it was my my first job in corporate America when I just started and I was having trouble with my boss, my numbers would be off the charts high on this. And, over time and experience in different jobs and different roles and getting laid off more than once and having to deal with teams and interacting and having good team members and bad team members and leading teams and changing industries and changing businesses and just getting older and more experienced, these things just don't have that same negative impact or anxiety or stress inducing power over me anymore. So that's it. Go ahead, take the little quiz today and rate where you are, see where your job anxiety is, because job anxiety is probably one of the things that scares people the most and that we worry the most about because it's outside of our control. Well, the anxiety part's inside our control, but a lot of the things about having a job and working for someone else are outside of our control, and things that are outside our control scare us. That's it. Have a fantastic day. I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.